Hey guys, welcome to the next critique, the community. If you would like to be a part of the next critique, you can always go to fstoppers.com/contests. And then in the next critique, we're going to be critiquing images of group photos. Photos with multiple people. You want to say more than two?
More than two.
Okay. We obviously are not supposed to be congregating right now while we're in quarantine, so we're going to dream of the day that we can be in groups again. So obviously I would imagine these images will have already been taken by you. These will be in your portfolio already, but upload your favorite group photos right now. Today we're going to be critiquing images that have been taken while photographers have been in quarantine.
Okay.
So I would imagine I chose these images. Some of them are outdoors, but I'm hoping that everyone...
They're practicing social distancing.
Yeah, and that no one cheated and they didn't upload something they took a year ago. We wanted this to be images taken within the last few weeks.
Perhaps the most exciting thing about this critique, though, is you and I do not have to assign a random number.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, every single one of you gets a free tutorial. I'm trying to figure out if there's some way in the back end that I might just be able to attribute one free tutorial of your choice.
Like a token, and then they could use it?
Yeah, Joe, our web guy, said he was building that a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if it's done yet. So you go into your profile. If you do not see a free tutorial in your profile, then send me a private message on Fstoppers and let me know which tutorial you want, and I will send it to you. Surprisingly, this is the highest rated image of this critique.
Surprisingly, uh-oh.
I mean, no offense, photographer, but this, when I saw this, I thought there's one of two things going on here. This image has 2 ratings, and you know, it's like this guy and his mom rated it, or this is going to be the worst critique I've ever seen.
We've said that before.
But this image has over 100 ratings. And there's actually incredible photos in this critique. So I don't know how this made it to the top.
Okay.
But it did. Are you ready to rate it?
Whew, I believe so.
3, 2, 1.
I'm between a 2 and a 3. I'm gonna go with you. A 2.
I just feel like, you know, it's a fine... It kind of just feels like an image that I would have taken in college as like a test shot with my buddy.
This is like a shot you took of your brother to get it on iStock photo.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I got the guy in the white background and everything.
Yeah, but you know, it's like his collar's all messed up. The lighting's a little bit, it's just not quite as good as it could be. I'm not even 100% sure this image is in focus. The cuff is all messed up on his hand. It just seems kind of sloppy. It seems like a test shot.
Yeah, this is strange. I think putting hands in the frame is always one of the most challenging things as a photographer. I know I've taken many horrible pictures that hopefully will never see the light of day where hands are awkwardly placed. But I think this is it too. It's like I almost want him to be like brushing off blood or sweat, like he's roughed up for a reason or something. Like the way it is right here, it just looks really strange. There's like dust on his jacket, like you said, the collar and everything. And then his shoulders and everything are just forward facing. And there's no interesting lines that make him look cool or slim or have a swagger. It just kind of feels like a test shoot.
And then the black and white conversion, I mean...
I don't know that I totally dislike the black and white conversion.
It feels a little flat, but not purposefully. I don't know. We need to kind of hurry because we have a lot of images to get through today. Community. Oh, I don't even. I forgot to put the community ratings in here. But I will tell you, it doesn't really matter.
Oh,
but
no.
I will tell you that this was the highest rated image, and I do not think it should be because if you go to the next image, look at the next image, which is, you know, incredible. So it's kind of hard to compare these two shots.
I wonder who took this image.
I have no idea.
I like it when we have people who submit to our contests and critiques every week.
And they're this good.
Virus busters. All right, I am ready.
3, 2, 1. I'm in between a 3 and a 4. In case you guys don't know, this is a Felix Hernandez shot. He does incredible miniatures and stuff. I love the concept of this. I mean, I think it's really funny. It's well done, but I don't think this is up to the level of some of his other work, and that's why I'm in between the 3 and a 4.
Yeah, it's definitely memorable, and I do like it a lot. I'm wondering, it feels so marketable right now because the toilet paper conspiracies and the run on toilet paper and everything. It's like something that's on everybody's minds, and I could see this being some kind of ad or even like a motion. Like this is the inspiration for a little commercial, you know? And so I think it just shows how clever he is, and I think it fits this critique well. I think it fits this time well. I almost wonder if he could shrink the tubes to make them look like they're bigger, you know? Shrink the tubes so the rolls look bigger, and then maybe it wouldn't look like a miniature, shot because the toilet paper is kind of what gives it away, you know, as this is not to scale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't know if making it look like, I mean, you can see the pattern on the toilet paper, so I think it's always going to look like normal sized toilet paper with a miniature bus. But really cool shot. I think I saw him post this on Facebook weeks ago. Everybody loved it. Next up.
Oh, wow. This is like a mixed media type of thing?
So, Patrick wanted us to each submit our own images. And he
Seemed
was like,
only fair, right? Put your money where your mouth is, and I have no money, obviously. And my mouth is
full of shit. Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, so
maybe.
Patrick took these weird portraits of me in like 2 seconds here in our studio, and I didn't know what he was going to do.
The definition of a test shot.
And then you revealed this horrific image to me days ago, and you said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "This looks horrible."
Yeah.
But you just ran with it. You were like, "I'm uploading it anyway."
I mean, my time's limited here on quarantine.
Yeah, you're so busy.
Yeah, right after this, we got to sit in this couch and chair for another hour. So I was like, I'm going to just try to come up with something. My hope was that it was better than yours.
Uh-huh.
And maybe it is better than yours.
Well,
because did you even get around to taking a picture? You definitely didn't take a picture of me.
So I did submit an image. It's the next image, so don't jump ahead.
Oh.
But I did not submit an image. I wanted to keep it secret. I wanted to reveal it to everyone live on camera so that you get Patrick's reaction.
So you don't like any bit of this. Do you think it was the technique or the execution, the idea?
I don't know. I mean, this just feels like I did stuff exactly like this when I was in college, and I learned about the blending tools in Photoshop, and I would take self-portraits and then like put things in my mind, that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the lighting on my face looks really bad. The paintbrush strokes are just like straight high school, college art project. And then, the picture of me doing that sweet kiteboard grab, that looks awesome. Which you actually did take that photo. So that is the one redeeming factor.
I took everything except the paint, which I guess I could have because we painted the other day, but I did buy those off stock.
All right, are you ready to rate this?
Do you have any idea? Oh, we're still rating. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. I mean, I got to give it 2.
2 or I could give this a 3 in a series.
You want to put this on your website? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't. No, it's okay. It's a 2. It's a 2.
All right. So your whole concept here was that, I'm stuck inside and I'm dreaming of kiteboarding, right?
Not totally. I was just trying to do a multiple exposure type of image and then mix some. If I didn't put that image in there, I have nothing to work with, right? There's no interesting thing in the studio at the moment. So I just thought, what if I could do a double exposure and mix something that was you? But
well, for my next shot, I just want to set the stage a little bit. Because I saw this days ago, so I thought, okay, you're doing a portrait of me with what I like.
Okay.
So, you...
I don't even know, Where is this going?
You have
Did you catch me like sun tanning up there?
no,
My little Speedo?
no.
No?
You and your fiance for 2 weeks have quarantined yourself from each other.
Yeah.
Because you both overreacted to COVID-19
Hey, easy there.
in the most outrageous way possible. You live in the same house and you live across from each other on the same floor.
Yeah.
You see each other every day, you eat meals together, but for some reason
But
you had
we're
to
always
sleep in
like,
separate
we're probably
rooms.
more distance than this.
Sure, whatever.
Okay.
And then the other thing,
So this has a quarantine theme to it.
it's got a quarantine theme to it. And then the other thing that has been on your mind, you know, after completely saying that all of this was a hoax and we shouldn't do anything, you changed course and now you're wearing masks.
I've never said this was a hoax. You're making me look bad. I've never said this is a hoax.
Well,
I just said the numbers might not be what the media is telling us, and it's starting to shape up to be that way. But anyway, that's for another episode.
Okay, so go ahead and reveal the image.
I found my dad's PPE. Are you ready for pleasure?
So
This-
this is my submission to the critique. And when I thought, you know, what represented me, like I'm stuck at home, I wish I could be kiteboarding, this is what I imagine you and Kristen are doing on your floor. And
During our 2-week quarantine or right after our?
No, right afterwards.
Right after.
Yeah, I mean, you've been quarantined, but you still have to be safe.
Well,
So,
no, because we've gone through the 14 days.
I don't know.
I'm convinced none of us have
It could be airborne.
coronavirus.
It could be airborne. I don't know.
Wow.
You know, safety first.
Okay, well,
So you guys need to let us know.
what's the line here that's running through the sheet? It's like where you didn't even erase the edge of the photo.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. There might be some,
There's like some Walmart still in my mask.
a little bit. Yeah. All right, are you ready to rate this?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. We both give it 5 stars. All right, moving on.
I hate that I have to give this image the same rating I just gave my image, which I spent like an hour or two on. All right. This guy, too, is self-quarantined from his significant other.
This image feels legit. It's like a self-portrait of what you're going through right now. All right, are you ready to rate this?
And we're trying to say these images, do they belong in your portfolio? That's always what our critiques are. Our critiques aren't like, hey, it's a pretty photo. It's always, can this make you money? Will this attract clients? Does this belong on your website? If you have a printed book, does it belong in there? Like your portfolio. Does this belong in your portfolio? And it could be different genres, obviously. Mine was definitely more like mixed media art or something. Others are portraits. Others might be landscapes, architect. There's tons of different portfolios, but this one, does it belong in your portfolio? Let's rate it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to go 2 as well.
I'm going 4.
Really? 4.
I mean, I'm in between a 3 and a 4. I feel like this is super moody.
Yeah.
I feel like this has a lot of commercial value. It could be used for a lot of different things. You know, should this be in a family portrait photographer's portfolio?
No,
of course not. But I feel like this is really well done. It sets a mood.
I feel like it's a little wide. I don't need the door on the left. I don't need everything on the right either. And then my eye just goes to all the furniture, and the furniture just looks like very standard. It's like it's not dirty and messy and grungy enough to where it brings character, but it's not decorated so well that you're like, ooh, every piece of furniture in the room was thought out. And I know this is just this guy's room, and it's being a little unfair when we say it's quarantine, but that still should be like the standard, right? I just feel like maybe for like a depression or AA, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think like there's also this supernatural, like maybe he's being abducted. I go in that direction, but for the majority of clients, I think they would look at this and just be like, oh, cool, he put a filter on an image of himself. It doesn't scream high-end photography to me. It's kind of creative
you're
for the
right.
concept, but I
mean,
don't know that it would go in
I
the
don't even know
portfolio.
that it's that creative. Maybe it's not 4 stars, but
You went 4 stars.
I did. I feel like...
Solid.
All right, maybe it's 3 stars.
No.
Do we want to meet in the middle?
Solid is
3 stars.
3 stars. This is excellent.
There are aspects of this that are excellent.
The backlight.
Yes.
I'm going to still stick with 2. I don't...
All right, moving on.
Do you know if the community... What the main ratings were? Were there 3s? Or were these all 2s and 2.5s?
No, lots of
Strong
3s. Yeah.
Okay.
Surprisingly, this one, Davin Edridge, somehow this one was one of the highly rated. Like, it might have been in the top 10 highest rate. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe this one had just a few ratings. I'm not sure.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I'm in between a 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've added the like the paint effect somehow.
Watercolor, like remove detail.
Yeah, but decent lighting on the baby, great expression on the baby's face.
Yeah, all of that's awesome. You know, if you take the watermark out and you put that in a photo frame, like that's an image you're gonna enjoy for a long time. But I don't think people looking to hire an infant photographer or family photographer is going to see this and be like, ooh, they're going to say, oh, it looks like they took it on their cell phone and it's probably of their kid and I don't want to hire this person to do professional photography for me.
Yeah, slow it down a little bit
and
on
then like the grain
effects.
and the focus and like the effect, it's just too much, too over the top for me.
All right, moving on. So there's a few wildlife photos in this, and again, I'm assuming that everyone
Lives in a garden.
Yeah, I mean, shooting a bee should be reasonable. Some of the other ones coming up, questionable, but we'll see. Like, we'll talk about when we get to it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. I'm in between a 2 and a 3. I mean, incredible job capturing this bee and getting him in focus and freeze frame and all this stuff, but I don't know, maybe I do have to make this 2 stars. It's just, for the genre of macro photography, technically this is really good, but from an artistic standpoint, I've seen so much incredible macro work that this isn't doing much for me.
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at this image and say, oh my gosh, you captured a bee, you froze him, and it's, in focus. Like, how difficult must that be? But I like to throw all that out the window and just say, like, is it a beautifully shot image? And I feel like the composition's weird. I don't think anything's laid out real well. If this is staged, like we know Andres, the guy that we did a macro tutorial with, he's real big on putting things in the background to like make the color scheme exactly what he wants. I do like the purple hues in the background. I don't know if they were edited that way or if it was, a piece of cardboard or something was placed back there. But I just feel like the depth of it doesn't look right, and it's just, I don't know, the wings and stuff, everything gets lost, And that being said, you would take 1,000 photos of this and probably this might be the best one that you got. This is one of the hardest genres to tackle, but I'm not blown away by it.
Next up. So these are some of the images that were a little strange. Like,
are they practicing social distancing, or is this
girlfriend the model, or like what's going on here? Are you really taking this in your house? Do you happen to have a smoke machine in your house?
I mean, we do.
Well, we have an entire like set and studio in our house.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's that crazy. I think this is doable.
But
the question is if this is not someone in your household,
right,
and you're shooting with a telephoto lens, is that acceptable social distancing, or is that being irresponsible?
Listen, man, I feel like the whole world's overreacting a bit with this stuff, and so we'll get into it more in the coronavirus daily journal that we're doing after this. But
you'd be in trouble though if your wife knew that she gave you the COVID. you'd be in trouble. She'd be like,
That's the new STD.
you're like, I was just doing a shoot, babe. And she's like,
let me see the picture.
Yeah.
What was that? Why did she have to be naked? It's art. What do you mean?
Hey, she's clothed.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
1.
3 stars. We agree.
Here's why I give it 3.
Okay.
I think the lighting looks really nice.
Yep.
This is a very in fashion kind of lighting with the gel lights and everything. I just think, again, go back to art buyers and people that want to hire you. Models are rarely ever hiring you. They get to do shoots for free. I feel like maybe a lingerie company or somebody would hire you, but I don't know. I just kind of get tired of seeing like really beautiful girls half naked.
You would.
I've seen them all, man. I've seen them all. It's just, it doesn't do anything for me anymore. And I keep thinking of that video we posted a while back of the guy who's like, stop shooting hot girls, put a product in their hand. And I'm thinking, yeah, like you have the girl, she didn't have to be half naked. You got the awesome lighting, like come up with a concept that's just a little bit more than just the sexy girl. Now, if that's your intention and you just want to shoot half naked girls, I get it. Like that's why many male photographers become photographers, right? But a whole portfolio of this, I'm just kind of like, doesn't this seem overdone at this point? There's so many people on every community that has awesome half-naked girl photos.
I am offended by...
Make her look like a superhero. Make her look like a sports player.
Whatever,
Make her
dude.
look like...
Every time there's cosplay, you're like, I hate cosplay.
I don't mean cosplay. I don't... Maybe not a... Don't make her look like a superhero. Just make her look like a badass or something.
So, I disagree. I feel like photos of hot women, although they're overdone for a reason. I feel
What
like...
is that reason? Do you ever walk around and see images like this? Maybe in a clothing store. Maybe Victoria's Secret, maybe.
Sure.
But it wouldn't... I think there would be more emphasis on the clothes, but...
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, the whole joke is that a lot of fashion photography hardly shows the clothes at all. It's just about sex. But I feel like this girl's body and the lighting looks amazing. The thing that cheapens this a little bit for me is something about her facial expression and her position of her face. And normally I could pinpoint what it is. But I don't know. Maybe I want to see her turn away from the camera a little bit more and show just the profile of her face. But I feel like if you cover up her head, I mean, this looks like a 4 or 5 star image.
You would.
And then
you would cover up her head.
And then you show her face and she just looks a little uncomfortable or something. And then the smoke or the fog, whatever we got going on, it's like I want to see it a little bit more uniform throughout the entire background rather than in just the upper left-hand corner. But I feel like
I really like the lighting. I think that's really
too.
cool. I mean, that ass shadow, that ass highlight.
That ass highlight, though.
That's about perfect.
All right, next up.
Man, it sucks we don't have the ratings. People are going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I screwed up. The funny thing is, though, have you noticed that on the submission pages, you know, people can leave comments, and the comments are always angry about people leaving unfair ratings.
Right.
It's like people cannot get over this, that their images are being rated 2s instead of 3s or whatever. And so maybe this should be a breath of fresh air for everyone. Just relax. The ratings that people leave do not matter at all.
Could you imagine? Everyone's always like, if you're going to leave a 2, you should leave a reason why.
Exactly.
You would just stop rating. If you had to write comments for every image that you rated.
We've had our writers, like, for months be like, if you're going to rate images badly, we should force them to write why. I'm like, no one's going to do that. Just relax.
It's like every time you're on Tinder and you swipe no, you have to like tell that person like,
Exactly.
why I didn't find your profile attractive.
So everybody relax. The only opinions that matter are mine. Okay. Are you ready to rate this?
Dude, how in the world was this shot in... If this is what you're doing during your quarantine, I like it. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
I don't know that this really, I mean, people like to debate what is photography, and they're always saying every image in your critique the community is so heavily processed, and you've added background plates, and it's not even photography anymore. This definitely feels like it's not photography, but I still love it. I still think that photographers can make a living doing this kind of stuff. This is kind of commercial, and the advertising world is all about this, you know. I don't know if you've taken a bunch of stock images and have built this, or if you have taken a bunch of images throughout your life and started going through. I've been going through old images and just finding little pieces of things that I liked. And
part of me wonders if this whole thing is real.
What do you mean if it's real?
Like, I don't know if this is pieced together.
It's just flying without wings?
Well, I'm not saying it's real in the world. I'm just saying this structure is real in someone's studio and the birds have been added.
No way.
A lot of it, the lighting looks too consistent to be random images placed together. The one piece of this that doesn't feel like it fits to me is the very bottom.
Yeah,
whatever that thing is on the bottom. The lighting on that does not feel the same as the lighting on the rest of this.
Yeah, it's almost like that little ball or whatever needs to go pure black like the wood above it or something.
And then something else that's bothering me about this, that one stick that comes all the way down to the bottom, I want it to be
bent?
Vertical, like perfectly vertical.
But
and
it's perfectly the same line that goes all the way to the top where the ladder is. I like this image because you can just sit here and examine it for a long time. I think that's always a good quality to have in a photograph.
Well, like my submission with you and your fiance.
You can just look at it and see all of the errors and the retouching.
No, my image was all about the story.
It
Makes you think, like, how insane is this person?
Yeah.
What type of weird relationship does he have?
Or I need the mask and
why
the
would he
face
go to
shield.
Walmart wearing a face shield? Yeah.
All right. Next. Every one of these people was going to win a tutorial.
Man, we're generous. By the way, guys, in case you didn't want a free tutorial, we're having one of the biggest sales ever at fstoppers.com/store. And the more tutorials you buy, the more you save. And if you don't want to spend any money, you don't have to, because Photography 101, I think that's what it's called. I think it might be called something else, actually. Anyway, you'll find it. Our tutorial on Intro to Photography is 100% free. So just go and download it totally for free.
Now, in that tutorial,
Yeah.
you do take some pretty amazing photos, I have to say.
Yeah, that...
It was an intro to photography, yet there's a lot of, like, 2 stars in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not our most polished tutorial by any means, but if you're just getting into photography, it's a good place to start. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars.
What do you think this is?
I would imagine it's bread.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have any idea more than that?
And then why does it need this much flour or whatever on it? I don't know. Like, I would imagine normally it doesn't need this much flour, but they needed it for a photo, so they just kept putting flour on it.
Yeah, do you serve a lot? Have you been served a lot of bread that has just raw flour on top of it?
Almost never.
Yeah. I keep going to pastries. I keep wanting to think this is like pumpkin bread or something, and it's sugar. I don't think it's what kind of sugar would you have on there?
Powdered sugar?
Well, yeah, but there's a fancier word. It's like confection sugar or something. I don't know.
You're making stuff up.
Probably. I tend to do that.
I think it looks nice. I love the lighting, love the simplicity, really like the solid blue background. I'm not sure I like the napkin thing on the right side.
Yeah, my eye keeps going to that.
But, I think the hands look nice with a little bit of powder on them, and it's okay.
Maybe you take the napkin out and put something else in there. Put the egg beater or, some kind of...
face shield for protection.
A face shield. This is a really pretty image. I think this definitely, put this on your website, put it on Instagram. It shows your talent well. Mix this in with a bunch of other food shots. I like it.
Next up, this one feels like a true quarantine shot. Are you ready?
I am.
3, 2, 1. 4 stars. This is one of my favorite shots of the critique so far. I love the simplicity, but we've got great looking symmetry in the upper left and bottom right corner. Really interesting light pattern on the ground, and then we got the guy biking right through it with a shadow cast. I think it's super interesting. And then, of course, wearing the mask tells the story, just like you and your lovemaking.
Yeah, it definitely tells a story. And it's kind of cool to think that you could just be sitting in your balcony anticipating this shot all day, Or maybe when the light is right and you're just like, oh, I'll go out at 4 o'clock and there's this cool scene. I don't know if anyone thought it through that much, but if you're stuck in your house, you probably see the scene every single day. It feels a lot like we're living in like Groundhog Day or something.
Yeah.
Every day I've never been so scheduled, and it's starting to mess with my mind, because every day I'm like, today I don't have to edit a video, but then tomorrow I do, and it's the same thing, and I wake up at the same time, and everything is this rhythm, and I'm like, it's kind of driving me a little crazy.
Next up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. So, all right. I'm in between a 3 and a 4. You gave it 4. I think it's incredible. Again, maybe this is unfair. I'm just jaded because I've seen so many incredible flash pictures of birds going in the water and
You think this
getting
is flash?
Well, if it's not, then that's also very impressive.
It's strange. It's like there's several highlights in the bird's eye.
Yeah,
You never totally know, but that could be the sun up in the top left. But then there's this. Have you seen these bird photographers that have the telephoto lenses? Maybe, I don't know if they still do this, but I remember back in 10, 15 years ago when I first got into photography, and they have the direct flash, like the hot shoe flash, forward, and then they put some magnifier on it, and I'm just like, and it's like fill flash for a 400 millimeter lens. And I'm always like, does that do anything? And does it make your picture look good? But when you look at this bird's eye, I see that kind of look where there's like a little hint of a flash pop right in the middle. I don't like the crop on this. I want to crop in tighter and just make it way more dramatic, where the whole frame is just exploding with action. I see why you like the highlight and the reflection in the bottom. But to me, just placing your subject right in the middle like that, I think it could be stronger zooming in. But the colors in this are really great. The sharpness is really great. I'm not a bird photographer, but maybe this is really easy to do because it's just happening over and over. You're baiting the area with the fish. I don't know. But when I see that, I'm like, man, that's a really solid image that would belong in your wildlife photography portfolio.
Yeah, maybe it is a 4-star image. Beautiful colors on this bird and everything. Really cool.
Now, I glanced at this competition a few days ago. I want to say, was there 2 images just like this? Like one cropped a little differently?
I don't remember. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars. I feel like really cool lighting. Beautiful girl. Nice retouching. Still see lots of skin detail and everything. Interesting crop. I guess I'm not going 4 or 5 stars just because, I don't know, maybe her expression, maybe the model herself, maybe the hair on the right. I don't know. I'm not blown away by this, but it's definitely a good shot.
I keep thinking of 2 things with this image. One is her expression, and 2 is the retouch. It almost feels like it's over sharpened or something.
Well, that's true.
there's so much detail in the pores, and then maybe it's a depth of field thing. Like her nose has completely different texture than the face.
That is a great point. It's like they've added clarity to only a portion of...
And there's times where, this is probably somebody's wife, and I don't know how to say this, like, if you're going this beauty route, there's some, like, retouching or cleaning up of the bottom lip. It's not like it looks bad. I just think, you got these highlights in very specific places. I almost feel like I want that bottom lip cleaned up a little bit better. And then I want something done with the skin to soften it while still having flawless skin, It's very easy, and I'm guilty of it too, where you make your skin look super plasticky or you make it too retouched. I'd be curious to see what a super high retoucher does. I did that one video recently right before the quarantine that was like makeup versus Photoshop. Today I propose a simple question. What is more deceiving, Photoshop or makeup? And I sent my images off to a professional retoucher, and I'm looking at those images like at 100%, and they look so good with the skin retouch.
Well, I feel like this person did a great job with the skin retouch. They just did the over sharpening, like you said, and if you look at her cheek, you can actually see like a swoop mark here where it goes from blurry skin to over sharpened skin. They didn't need to do that.
Like right above the mole, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think bigger, more, maybe even more than that. Because that could be fixed in post. It's just the expression. I feel like she looks sad and mad, and but it's beauty lighting. I don't know. It's just kind of a strange expression, but still gave it a 3.
Next up, once again, this does not feel very much like a quarantine.
People are living much better lives than we are.
I think
they got the fur rugs, and they got the glamorous girls with the party dresses and perfect hair. Look at the hair on this.
The life we could be living right now.
I'm just going to choose to believe that they're all getting the infection and that I don't want to be on these photo shoots. I saw somebody, was it Pratik? Somebody was on Facebook just saying, like, are we going to call out all these photographers that are doing these Facebook Live photo shoots around the world? I haven't seen these, but apparently there's a lot of people doing photo shoots and then broadcasting them on, like, webcam and live, Facebook Live. And everyone was just like, you're either in one boat. You're like, oh, keep living your life and like be safe, or you are so irresponsible.
We have to shame you and call the police on you. Yeah. All right, let's rate this.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
No, you know what? I threw 4. I meant to throw 3.
I'm in between a 3 and a 4.
I'm a 3.
I feel like aspects of this look incredible, but then I don't know, there's some sort of funny business going on with the retouching that just feels like a little fake, like especially if you look at the shadow on her bicep, it just doesn't really feel real. It seems like there's a lot of weird dodging and burning going on. And so for that reason,
the shadow here?
Yeah, compared to that highlight, it just doesn't feel real.
I keep going back to the rug, and I don't know if I would have tried to shoot this with more depth of field or if it's been cut out, but there's just weirdness around the hair of the rug that it just feels like something's been superimposed over her hand and stuff. It almost feels like her arm is resting on an apple box, and then in post you somehow added the rug. I don't know why. It just, something about the rug cheapens this to me. The lighting on her looks great. The highlights on her dress, her hair. She looks great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I really like this image.
I wonder if you could put something else in the background to make it even busier. I don't know.
All right, let's move on.
Now, there were several images of this girl, right?
Maybe. Well, you know what? I think I recognize this girl in that chair. There might have been another shot of this girl in some bikini, and Katie was the one critiquing with me, and I think it might have been the thumbnail for that critique.
Oh, yeah.
I love this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not all about her ass, but I like the colors, and I think she's beautiful.
Oh, I was thinking there might have been another image of this set. Maybe that was the third image that you saw months ago.
I don't know.
But look, this is the word I was looking for earlier, last episode I think, was wicker chair. there was this like wicker chair that went viral, not viral, but it was used for years and years and decades and decades. It kind of looked like that, but I think it's called the peacock chair.
Well, are you ready to rate this peacock chair?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars. We agree. There's definitely aspects of this I really like.
This feels like, is it Chase? What's Chase's last name? He's another one that always submits to our contests. He's got the one of the guy with the gun in the desert, and then he's got the girl in the camper van painting or whatever. He had the one where we were talking about doing a critique the community where we revisit images. That's still ongoing. I'm just waiting for like the right time to do it. But he had an image where it's like the car is parked and they're like digging the body, and the other car is coming up over.
Yeah, those images feel more polished to me than
Yeah,
this.
but I feel like this is him. This has this like retro, Renaissance, but modern person type of vibe that he does a lot of. He's got some really cool images now that I think of all the images we've critiqued. This feels like some kind of like calendar. Like this would be a pin. It's almost like a pinup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
I think maybe my least favorite part of this is the shadow cast by the chair.
I keep looking at that too. It's got this like color cast in the shadow, and it's not as dense as maybe. I don't know if that shadow is darker, if it would look wrong, but there's something about the shadow she's casting and then the shadow on the chair that's got this yellow tint that my eye does keep going to.
All right, let's move on.
This is a good example of like, again, sexy girl. She's got the cocktail, which is a little bit more styled than the other sexy girl that's just standing in lingerie with the gelled lights. But there's something about this style that I feel like somebody would look at this and say, I don't know that I need her, but I like the vibe. Like, I love the color. I love the lighting. There's something going on here that feels to me a little more unique.
That's true.
Than the other image that is still well lit, but just kind of feels more common.
Next up.
Now, here's a question before we rate this. Were a lot of the images in the submissions all about coronavirus and masks and people like killing themselves and being depressed? Or were they more like what we're seeing here, where it's like really creative shoots, where it feels like people took the time they now have to produce the art they really wanted to produce?
I did not look at all of the submissions. I always sort them by the highest rated, and then I just see, like the best, and then I choose the most interesting from that list. But I was pleasantly surprised with the variety that there was. I feel like I chose a big variety of images for this as well. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. I'm in between a 2 and a 3 here. There's a few things that I love. I mean, this kind of feels like something from the 50s or something. But I'd love for her camera right arm to be a little bit more symmetrical, first of all. Love the dress and the hair. It kind of has that old style. I think the binoculars look great. Love the lighting in the binoculars. But then we've got like that weird background that feels like a wasted opportunity to me.
I feel exactly the same way. It feels like a bed sheet or, paper that you didn't retouch to make it non-wrinkled. I want to see this image where you've cut her out of the background, and then you put her in a scene, like a skyline or like a simple skyline, nothing crazy. Just like put her at I'm thinking Atlantic City Beach.
She's a peeping Tom looking into someone else's bedroom. The woman is in the bed. The man is wearing a face shield. What? Why would he be doing that?
She's like, what is he going to do to her?
She doesn't look like she's ready for pleasures.
I love this like out of focus thing with the elbows and stuff. And I feel like you could put some really cool, simple, I keep going to beach scene, but like simple beach scene with just a horizon and maybe some birds. It's out of focus that plays on that. I feel like the background's kind of killing it for me, but still 3. I think it's a cool shot.
Next up.
My mind goes to many different things with this. My first thought is she is like a Mortal Kombat assassin. But then I'm like, maybe she works for like an airline and this is like Singapore Air or something.
Oh, that's funny. That's like, this is actually what they're supposed to be wearing.
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I assume this was just a styled shoot, but now that you mention it, I guess I was going to say it's pretty impressive that they got these colors so close if they're just doing this for fun, but in Photoshop it's very easy to match colors, and when you really look at the dress and the hat, the colors aren't perfect. So, which it makes me feel like these colors are real.
Yeah.
Are you ready to rate this?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. I really want to give this 4 stars. I think my biggest critique is I don't like what she's doing with her hands.
Yeah.
But I love the styling, love the pose, love the fact that this is a profile shot, love the lighting, love the simple background that, you know, still plays with the colors that she's wearing. Yeah, it just makes you wonder what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I wonder if this will be an image if you saw this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if you would, like, how would we have read this image just a few months ago? Would we have been like, why is she wearing that? And would I go to the assassin direction, or would I go to like pandemic? I don't know. It's interesting. I do wish her hands were just doing something else. Do you think you could just crop?
Yeah, you can just crop past it and just have it be more about her upper body. All right, moving on.
There's the apple box.
In the generated sorrow or simulated sorrow.
Simulated sorrow, is that one?
Something like that.
All right.
3, 2, 1. I want to give this one 4 stars too. I mean, we always joke that you know, white people love pretending to be like in pain or screaming and stabbing ourselves in photographs. But this one actually feels high end to me.
Yeah, I don't even feel like the sorrow. He doesn't look that upset to me. He almost looks like tired, but he's doing this weird modelly pose that his arms are all wrapped around. The tones on this are incredible. Like, I don't even know how to do this. I wish I could shoot something more like this. It feels, maybe it's like you're playing with the red, black and white slider, and you're pulling the skin tones in a certain direction, but this just screams like Abercrombie ads, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If he was like looking at the camera and his face was turned in and not smashing his nose like that. It's funny, we were talking about fashion images. You know, we kind of think of like women in lingerie, but like Abercrombie ads are always these like topless guys without their shirts, and there's no clothing in there at all. You remember they had like a catalog in the 90s or 80s or 90s or 2000s where maybe even people were naked in it.
Right.
And everyone was outraged, and it was like the biggest ad campaign ever. This has that vibe to it, and I really like it. I just wish his face was doing something else. And I assume if you live with this guy, if this is you, you could just revisit this set, or you have other images from this set. This is definitely worth pursuing.
Maybe. I don't know. I really like it the way it is. I'd like to see other shots as well, but I think this is really working the way that it is. Next up.
I saw this one.
So, one of my favorite products of all time are my Bose Quiet Comfort 35 2s. And these, I believe, are the Bose 700. These are the new, more expensive, upgraded versions. And so I was super excited because, you know, if they were better in any way, I'm willing to spend the money because it's one of my favorite products of all time. And although they look better, you know, there's no doubt about that, I don't think these are as good as the QC35s. One problem...
From sound quality?
Sound quality, I think everybody says they're identical. I'm not
Okay.
sure that there's any difference at all. Maybe the noise reduction, there might be slightly better, but not that much.
Is this like voice activated or something?
I don't know about that, but I think the buttons, many of the buttons are gone, and now it's like touch controls and sliding and stuff, which you freak out
I
about.
tried these on in a Bose store not recently, and it just made me so mad. I was like, thank goodness they had the refurbished 35.2.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to save hundreds of dollars and get this. I like it in every way. This thing drove me crazy.
Well, the other problem with these, and maybe I have weird freak ears, but what I love about the Bose headphones, which I have never found another pair of headphones that do not touch my ears. You know, a lot of headphones smash ears. They actually sit on your ears. Sorry, I'm getting phone calls. But the Bose headphones sit on your head, and my ears don't touch at all. Well, these are shallower, so my ears actually touch
Yeah.
the back of the speakers inside. And I was very upset because I wanted to give Bose my money, and I feel like they made them beautiful, but I'm not sure they're better.
Ready to rate?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. 3 stars. We agree. There's aspects of this where I'm like, oh, this looks so awesome, but then there's just other aspects that... First of all, do you know what's on the table? I keep thinking, oh, that's rose petals, and then I look and I'm like, no, those are nutshells that are painted red.
Yeah, on the top right, it looks like a pecan shell or something.
I don't know what it is.
And then it's kind of got this potpourri vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the concept isn't thought through enough. Like, that doesn't make sense. I almost want to see this image without any of the red. But is the product placement... Like, it kind of drives me crazy that on the right headphone, the part of the band is coming out.
Yeah,
and then
you're
on the
right.
left, it's like in the middle. I just don't think that that's how Bose would lay the product out. It's still well lit, and it's kind of a pretty shot. I gave it a 3, but I think if you're totally into product photography, I think this is... I think people who design products that want to hire a photographer would look at this and say, this feels very, very sloppy. If you're just a photographer, you might be looking at the light and saying, oh, it looks well retouched and lit and everything, composited. But I think a designer would look at this and say, yeah, that doesn't seem like the way I would have laid the headphones out.
Next up.
A lot of product photography, which makes sense if you're stuck in quarantine.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, what do you have that's brand new, that's unscratched?
That's a good point.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. 3 stars. I don't know. Part of me wants to give this 4 stars.
I do not like the reflection on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like too much, or make it more conceptual where it's like water, or it's a piece of track or asphalt or something. Like, make this more conceptual, because as a product shot, I just feel like maybe they wouldn't even show the reflection. And then if they wouldn't show the reflection, would the shoe be rotated a little bit more so that it's like a little more profile? I don't know. Something about the reflection and then the profile of the shoe feels a little off to me, but...
Well, you know, the other thing that feels strange about the bottom of the shoe is that it feels brighter. The reflection feels brighter than the shoe itself. And if you start looking at some of the tread down here, especially towards the left side of the frame, it's incredibly bright. It's almost like white. But then when you compare it to the tread directly above it, it doesn't look as bright. So it feels like the reflection is brighter than the shoe itself. I feel like the lighting on the shoe looks great. Like the color in the background, like the subtlety there.
Yep.
Have you're probably like not going into the outdoorsy rock climbing stores and stuff, but have you seen how much shoes like this cost? You'll go into these stores and it's brands.
Are these like $300?
They can be, and I'm like, I've never seen people wear shoes like this from Solomon, but like all the shoes will be $180 or more. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Same thing, I've been into running stores recently, brand names I've never heard of before, same thing, like $180 shoes that look very simple. You know, they don't have air bubbles or anything. But
shoes are interesting because a lot of shoes that I buy, like these shoes here, might just be like $40, you know,
Yeah.
and I just get them because I need some fashionable looking shoes. But I try to go back to remember the days of having, is it East Bay was the magazine? You just look in high school through all, I don't know if anybody out there remembers this, but you just look at shoes. And it was like most shoes were $70, and then they were $120 for the super expensive ones.
Yeah.
But now it feels like there's some really cool looking shoes for like $30.
Yeah.
And then now there's $300 shoes. And so it just kind of feels like the market, I would suspect that the $120 shoes that we had as kids now are $200 with inflation. Like that's just what a high-end pair of shoes would cost now.
Maybe I think like 160 seems to be like the Air Max.
Okay.
You know.
But it feels like shoes have a wider range now to where
Yeah, it does feel like that.
you can find.
There's more competition, but then weird brands like Solomon, who I thought just made skis, are making tons of boots and shoes that are very expensive. All right, the final image. If I remember correctly, this was one of the highest rated images, like top 5
Yeah.
highest rated images of this critique.
I guess I'll tell this story. Like, I don't know who it was, but somebody in New York is a big bourbon fan, and somebody just said like, I would never buy Hudson because it's like made with the shitty water that's in Manhattan, and like all bourbons are kind of from like Tennessee and from Kentucky, and like there's like that heritage, but everyone's like made in like Gardner, New York.
Well, I've been trying to start a luxury hot sauce brand. It's kind of been put on hold since the entire world's come down with a pandemic. But I have become somewhat obsessed with bottle design. And, looking at liquor bottles are some of the prettiest designs in the world. This has one of the most horrific bottle designs. I mean, how is this acceptable?
What do you not like about the bottle?
Well, not necessarily the bottle, but the label. It's like they took a paper bag from a grocery store.
I think that's kind of the vibe. This is supposed to look like a medicine bottle or like super simple.
They have succeeded.
One of my favorite ones is the Four Roses single barrel. It's got this like a square. I'll have to show you the bottle. It's a pretty cool looking bottle.
How much does it cost?
Maybe like $60 a bottle, so it's not super expensive, but it's kind of hard to find because it's, people really like it. But in the bourbon world, there's lots of labels that look very similar to this.
Let's rate this. 3, 2, 1.
You're going to go 2?
What? Are you kidding me? 4 stars? This is about to be the biggest mistake of your critique history.
I was between a 3 and a 4.
There's no way this is a 3.
Really?
No way this is a 3.
I think this image pops. I think like I want more hay or something. Remember that song, Hay in the Middle of the Barn? You don't know Crucial Conflict?
No.
You need more hay, or it just feels like it's not totally fully styled, but I love the backlighting. Maybe the concept's a little crazy. Like, I don't know how many bottles of bourbon there are exploding like this, or whiskey. This is rye, actually. But I don't know. For just doing something in your home, I like this. Why do you think this is a 2?
There is no professional product photographer on the planet.
Be easy with that statement.
Professional.
Okay.
Who would put this on their website? This is not cutting it. This screams hobbyist photographer having a good time. Trust me, I've taken pictures just like this, maybe worse. I do not think this deserves to be in anyone's portfolio. Like, what type of whiskey brand would look at this and go, you know what? That's the person we need to hire. They are going to make us sell a bunch of this product. This looks so cheap. I mean, everything about it is cheap. The lighting is bad. The weird retouching and the lighting behind the sprayed liquid looks so fake and weird. It does, like, look at the way the liquid is like lava in the neck of the bottle, but then it just, there's a straight line and it becomes
the
like
lip of
goo.
the bottle isn't on top of the whiskey. It's like It looks like an opacity issue.
And then look at how bright the liquid is up by the cork. It looks ridiculous. Like, that's not how lighting works.
Well, it is also lit. It's like the highlight is on the right side, yet that's the dark side of the whole scene, the whole bottle.
Yeah, it's like, this is just the cheesiest composite ever. And then the set itself looks so bad. Like, who has just this much hay? Why wouldn't you put a lot of hay?
Oh, that was my
Why
critique.
would you put like 3 pieces of hay? And then you've got the weird light in the background that's, you know, kind of going off to the frame on the left, but not on the right. I don't know. Like, this just does not feel well done to me at all.
I see. I mean, I totally see what you're saying. I'm just trying to think why I like this. It's like the colors and the tonality, and if I like zoom out of this and go, I guess this is the last image, but when I just look at it small, I feel like it's like it grabs my attention. But it's like the details aren't refined. But
sure,
the overall like direction, I feel like you're kind of going in a cool direction, but it needs to be.
I mean, you could say that about anything. You could be like, the idea of taking a picture of a person is good, but when I actually look at your picture, the lighting, the concept, the model, the location is bad. But if I look at it really small and I can't see any of that, I see potential there.
You think that's just a trend that photographers do? I mean, we've worked with Brian Rogers Jr., who does a lot of that kind of stuff, and Rob Grimm. Like, we've worked with a lot of photographers that are in the bottle liquor industry, and they always kind of often have the splash stuff incorporated, but you're just saying that's too over the top?
No, it could be fine if it was done well. This is just not done well.
Shockingly, I'm not impressed with much of what I'm seeing from Hudson. That might have been the best image I shared.
Well, obviously Hudson has no taste if they are cool with that logo.
They're using Manhattan water.
All right. If you would like to be a part of the next critique, upload your group photos to fstoppers.com/contest and head over to fstoppers.com/store to check out the tutorial sale that we have going on and get your free photography tutorial.
We also have some new items in the store. We've added a bunch of items from SLR Lounge, specifically Pi Jerza,
which is included in our sale.
Oh,
Usually when we do sales, the deals that we have with the other people is that like our sales only include our stuff, but SLR Lounge has allowed the tutorial to include, the sale to include their tutorials. So we will see you guys next time, and maybe we'll see you in the next coronavirus journal that we're about to film right now.